You know, it's been a good morning. It's been a good morning. I woke up still a little upset from what happened yesterday. And I know it's just a hiccup. You know, I had a situation at work because I had fallen behind, and it was, I think it's resolved, but just reminding myself that it's okay, babe. It's okay. You've done this before. You've done this before. It's happened before. It's just a cycle that's repeating, and you're just getting better at it, right? Just reassuring myself, you're just getting better at it. It still stings, it still hurts, but it's okay. It's okay. So I meditated to see, okay, what do I need to focus on today? You know, do I focus on work, preparing for volunteer, like the script, reminding myself what I need to say? Do I work on my projects? It was all very light, very subtle movement. So I had a hard time distinguishing if it was a yes or if it was no. But then I would go back, like I mentioned, that I have these statements that are more neutral, more accepting. Everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to, and that specific statement is my baseline. Like, so I'll feel the vibration more intensely, and then I'll have a default statement or thought that slows me down completely. So I'm like, okay, those are my two guidance, extremes to level myself out before I ask my yes or no questions, and even in between, just to make sure. So I was asking, I was still emotional at my best. I still felt it from yesterday, the disappointment within myself, really, about not having been able to give work 100% over the past month because of where my attention was being split. Because again, I don't like when I don't give 100% of myself. But I know I need to stay balanced. So it's just a lesson. It's just a lesson. I'll be fine. So I start asking, okay, what do I focus on today? Do I focus on work? It was very subtle. So then I would go over here. Everything's unfolding exactly as it needs to, and it's pick up. Do I do this? And then I'd stop. And I'm like, do I focus on work? Very subtle, not strong, just there. Do I focus on my projects? Very subtle. Do I focus on, Project Survive stuff to memorize the script because I haven't really looked at it, and, it's coming up. Very subtle. So I was like, okay. And then I just sat with that for a little bit. I'm like, it's very subtle. It's not very strong like the other times. So then I checked in with myself emotionally, and I knew where I was at. I was like, do I just need to pick up my vibration? Do I just follow my heart today? Just follow. Okay. And I knew that. I was like, just stay balanced. Just find joy in the moment. Just, everything's fine. Everything is exactly as it needs to. Even the crying is okay. Just a little extra sensitive, that's all. Today, should be getting my period soon, so I know there's some influence of that. The morning sessions went really well because I went really well. And it feels good to see my clients trust themselves, And I'm realizing how important it is to help them own their truth. And at the same time, just accept where they are with their own truth, right? Because just accepting one's own truth is really hard if they're still resistant to it. I just had a client who was just sharing the years that she's had in therapy and realizing she had this realization after another encounter that she knows a lot. And I knew she knew a lot. She's great at what she does. And we've talked about how that's a path for her. That's outlined in her birth chart. And she's not ready to embrace it yet. And I'm like, okay. So she told me to. She's like, I think I want to take a break from counseling. I was like, okay. She explained why. I was like, I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. Her intentions behind it. And even when, with other people, I mean, I always honor where they're at, and if that's what they want to do. I never try to keep them. They know their life. But with her, I think it's just, I enjoy our conversations and our connection. And I was happy for her to come to that realization on her own. It's like fly, birdie, fly. Like, you have everything you need. You have everything you need. Just the realization she needs to trust herself more. And she's using therapy as a crutch. So I'm just grateful. She bought the books that we've been going over together. And she's like, they came in. And I was like, okay. She's like, this one's overwhelming. Can you help me break it down? And I said, sure. So I showed her, I said, this is just how it's set up. Tabs helped me, if you're visual. Just giving her the tools. She has the tools. She has everything she needs. Everybody does. When we learn to listen to ourselves, right? When we learn to listen to what feels good and what doesn't. And I'm doing more trauma narrative work. And I'm finding how grateful I am for my own truth. For me to own my own truth. And I continue to see parts of myself in my clients. I had a client who talked about, first time ever, talked about masturbation at a young age. And I knew the challenge with that part of one's life, right? And accepting it. And me explaining, I'm like, I totally see it. I totally see how it provided a relief. And this person hadn't considered looking at masturbation as a coping tool. But the way this person described her situation, I was like, you were coping. And these, 60-second relief, 90-second relief of like the stress that one's holding in, right? As a child. And then get disciplined by it. It brings confusion to the individual, to the child, of like, how can something that feels so good and relieving also have this negative consequence from the outside world, right? How confusing that is. So I acknowledge that. I'm like, that must have been really confusing as a child, that your body is communicating something and the outside world is not listening. And they're like so grateful. They're like, I hadn't seen it that way, right? As a coping strategy for what was going on around me. And there was less shame around it. Less shame. Less hiding. More owning of one's truth. And I keep wondering, wondering, but just grateful that because I've been able to own my truth, I can help others own theirs, And that brings healing. That brings healing when you own your truth. Whatever that looks like in that moment. So anyways, I just wanted to share that. Because it was like a bittersweet moment. Yeah. That's all. So, I'm just gonna feel my way through it today. And, just right moment to moment. Everything will unfold exactly as it needs to. It always does. And I'm always exactly where I need to be.
Hey you, my name is Yubi and I use she, they pronouns, and you've just finished watching a clip from my video diary entries where I'm documenting my healing journey as I learn how to navigate my spiritual awakening. I have learned that this experience and process is unique to each and every one of us in whatever way we are embracing living our truth. This just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of formal mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself as these experiences unfold, and really inviting you along for the ride. Please know that there is a time gap between when these videos post and my real timeline, and also that these clips build upon each other similar to chapters in a book. So if you find yourself lost or confused, feel free to click on the playlist section or the link below, where you can jump around, check out the other chapters, and or catch up. Also, please know that you're more than welcome to check out my website, www.youbecominghealed.com, where I've gathered all of this information, my background, experience, and education to create online self-paced courses to help you on your healing journey wherever you are. You're also more than welcome to check out my other YouTube channel at You Becoming Healed, where I've entertained a podcast, including clips from these courses so that I can make this content accessible to more and more people. Please click like, subscribe, and share this content so again it reaches more people, with the hopes that other people will resonate and connect with the healing journey and the stories shared so that they don't feel alone in their own process. I thank you in advance. I'm grateful to you, and I wish you well.